Hello, and welcome to the fourth tutorial in our Photoshop series. In this tutorial, we'll talk about how to crop and resize images, as well as explain what resolution is and how you can get it to work for you. Let's get started! With a Photoshop document open, you can see that I have the image ready to be manipulated. What we'll do today is show off how to crop parts of the image if you need some bits of it for your projects. To crop, click on the crop image icon on the left here. This is actually one of two ways we can crop the image as well, and I'll show the second in a moment. After you click it, like before, drag a selection out of what you want to crop the image to. Cropping the image means you select those parts of the image and only those parts. When you're ready, right-click and select Crop. The second way we can crop the image is to go back, select an area with the Selection tool, and click Crop from the Image drop-down menu. Next, we'll go over how to resize an image. Resizing is a great way to get an image into a smaller or larger specified size for a client on a job or a project you're working on. First, have your image ready, then click the Image drop-down menu. Click Image Size. From there, you can see we have a menu similar to our initial New Document window, where you can change the size of the image. If the little link icon is there, this means that the image will keep its ratio as you change the size. Change the size to whatever you wish, and it will do it for you after you press OK. Need something at 800 width? It'll change the size of the image to fit that width and change the height accordingly. Lastly, I'll talk about resolution. As you can see here on the Image Size Properties window, you can see here that the resolution is 72 pixels per inch. That means the image itself will not be very large. If we change it to something like 300 pixels per inch, the image will be very large, and this is a good way to get your image to scale up quickly for banners, or scale it down so that you can fit it inside a smaller file size. Welcome to the fifth in our tutorial series on Photoshop. Here we'll be talking about how to work with layers on our Photoshop document. What are layers? Simply put, layers are the way how we can organize our image easily and smartly. Our Photoshop document open, we can see that we already have one layer of the document already in place. Over here on the right is our layer setup, and you can see how many layers we have. 1. The hierarchy of layers, meaning how they are stacked in a certain way, and if they're grouped, which they are not. So, to create a new layer, all you have to do is click the button at the bottom of the layer window that looks like a new page being turned, or hit Shift-Control-N at the same time. You can also click the layer drop-down in the top and select New Layer from there. I personally like the Layer button as it's easy to click and go. After this, you can see that we've added a second layer that is blank to our layer list. The new layer has now become the top layer, which is what will display over the image we have already. In this way, you can draw or stack images so you get exactly what you want out of the document. So, for example, you can see that I can drag the layers and reorder them any way I want. Top, bottom, stack them how you like to make the image you want. It's that simple. To group layers, you can click on the little folder icon down at the bottom next to the new layer icon, and it will create a folder. You can name the folder and drag any layers you want inside the folder. Doing this will allow you to do many interesting things, including apply effects to the entire group and more. And that's all you need to know about the basics of layers, a simple system to make image creation and manipulation easy. Well, hello there. It's the sixth tutorial on how to use Photoshop, and the topic this time is layer blending modes. After our last tutorial where we showed you how layers work, it's time to show you what you can do to your layers. We've already got our handy Photoshop document open, and it's easy to see the layers we've got set up from the previous tutorial. What we're going to do now is show off how you can create neat effects on the layers so you can create stunning documents. What we call effects on layers is called layer blending. Layer blending is a way we can add effects that will create a stronger image, change how the image looks, and more. Right-click a layer over here and click on Blending Options. Once you do this, you can see a wealth of options here to add effects to your layer. One option that is quite popular, especially with text, is the stroke option. The stroke option allows you to create an extra highlight of color around the object in your layer. Doing this can create a nice border effect to make objects stand out. The next option that can have a great effect on your image, and one you will get used to quickly, is drop shadow. Drop shadow makes your object look like it's floating above whatever you have it over in your layer order. You can adjust the direction of the shadow, the opacity, and much more. My last option that I'll go over is the color overlay, an option to completely black out or color out an image to create silhouettes, remove features, and more. The color overlay can allow you to create some interesting backdrops for your future images. There are more options in the layer blending menu, and I encourage you to check them out and see what works best with your images.